Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you in whatever time zone in the world that you may be listening to this very episode. My name is Kelvin and I am super excited to be here. I actually do see this as a privilege and an honor to be doing this, to be with you guys speaking. And I'm grateful. I'm super grateful to God for the privilege, and I'm also super grateful to you guys for listening in. And if this is probably your first time of coming, I want to say thank you, and I am so very sure that this podcast is going to be a contribution of value to you. And if this is your first time of coming, probably your second, your third, your fourth, your fifth, whatever number, thank you very much, and I'm so grateful. In honesty, I'm very grateful to have you. And this past couple of weeks has been something of a reminder. I'll call it, put it that way, a reminder that God is intentional about me, and I'm super grateful. I'm grateful to God. And 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, I of course had a new year and a new age, as the case may be. So I'm grateful to God. And as I was having some sort of a conversation with someone this morning, and I was saying that we often do pray for, this was just something that just popped in my head a few weeks back when I was just thinking, and just grateful to God, like by God's mercy, grateful, thanking Him for His mercy, thanking Him for His grace, thanking Him for, like, I'm just being all of how intentional He has been, and by His mercy we continue to be. And I was having a conversation, I was like, do you realize that we often do pray for destiny helpers? Like, we'll pray that, oh God, send me my destiny helper, send me someone that would help me in this life, in this season. And the other thing is, when the answers to that prayer come, when God sends somebody, it could be from a family member, it could be a friend, it could be someone in our various communities, whatever communities that we belong to, extend their hands towards the hands of help, and we in a way decline, which is quite understandable because we don't want to be seen as a burden, right? So it's one thing to always pray that, oh God, send me helper, and it's another thing to be willing to be vulnerable enough to receive help. Because what if there's someone that God has sent to you in a particular season to just be there by His mercy to meet every of your needs, and the person is reaching out to you constantly, like the case of the helper reaching out to the person who wants to help, and you are declining, say, I don't want to be seen as a burden, oh, this thing is becoming too much, I don't want to, like, it's quite understandably so. But in all honesty, I just feel that in as much as we pray to God for help, let's also come to the point where by His mercy we are vulnerable enough to receive help. Not when the help comes, irrespective of the number of times it comes, whether the 100th time, the 90th time, we wouldn't be ashamed. Yes, you are not lazy, because I understand the concept of you not wanting to be seen as someone who's a burden, or someone who's lazy, someone who doesn't have what is going on in his life. You get what I'm saying? But let's just ask for grace to be able to receive help, right? To be able to receive help when the help comes, not just once. If let it come once, come 4 times, come 5, like if we lost the number of times it comes, but at least we're vulnerable enough to receive help and not to feel ashamed about it. So basically that's just it from my own end, what I've been thinking. And to also think that this past couple of weeks the weather has been a little bit cool, as the case may be. Cold morning and a very cold night. You get? So if you are single, in Nigeria, I don't know if it's like that in other parts of the country. Other parts of the world, but I don't know where you may be listening to this right now. but I'm sure by now it's summer, so yeah. So if you are single, look up to Jesus. Even if you're not single in a relationship, as long as you're not married, still look up to Jesus. But if you're married, wow, we bless the Lord. We give God the glory. But anyway, though, let's just irrespective of your status, whether you're single or you're married or you're in a relationship, my advice is please take care of yourself in this season. Take good care of yourself. Do not leave yourself to chance, right? Do not, because this weather you just need to cover up. I'm not speaking as to indecent dressing or not. I'm talking about the weather in its entirety, that we should take good care of ourselves, as the case may be. So yeah, that is just it. And before we even move on, because of course we've been having a series in this season of this is the one of timing and decision making, and we'll be looking at the romantic series. But before we dive into what we'd have, let me not skip our tradition. So let me ask, how are you guys doing? And of course, I know. Let me not even assume. So let me ask. I hope you guys are enjoying the fatherhood of God. I hope you are living in gratitude. I hope that you are enjoying the moment. Okay. I hope that you are enjoying the process. I hope that you are full of joy, irrespective of whatever situation and circumstance that you are in. I hope that you are sharing love, sharing laughter, not just with your loved ones, but also with, when I say strangers, yeah, with strangers also. I hope that in nutshell, you're allowing God to be your father, right? Because there are times, of course, I know you don't feel it. You don't have to feel it. You don't you don't in a way know it. Like, you don't feel it. Like, at times you just go through life. There's nothing to make you have this feeling if God is there. But come on, we move by faith and not by sight. That's why we have the word of God, which is the basis of our faith. Okay, just enjoy the fatherhood of God, and come on, that is all I can say. Enjoy the fatherhood of God. I will not keep saying. I will not stop saying it. I beg your pardon. I will not stop saying it. I will keep saying it. Please enjoy the fatherhood of God. Allow God be your father, and whatever it may be, just be vulnerable before God. Whatever your feelings may be vulnerable before God. Okay, be vulnerable. Learn the art of vulnerability. And speaking of vulnerability, I remember that a few minutes ago I said, "Oh, vulnerable enough to receive help." So before we go, let me just say that I pray that God will also give you the wisdom to know who to be vulnerable to. Because of course, you are not supposed to be vulnerable to everybody all in the name of receiving help. I get it. I understand that. So yeah, there are people who by God mercy, God will lead your way, that wouldn't take advantage of you or take advantage of the situation, or even seem as though they are better than you, or making you feel either by actions or by words that you are less privileged just because you are receiving help. Okay, so that is it. So God will give you wisdom to know who to be vulnerable to, right? And by being vulnerable to them, or when you become vulnerable to them, they would cover your nakedness. They wouldn't reveal it to the world. And when this season of your life pass and you're now in this position to help someone, they wouldn't in any way say, "Oh, I made you who you are today. I contributed to the man on the you are or the woman you become today." Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That God will give you wisdom to know the kind of people you'll be vulnerable to. Okay, so taking the step further, let's just go to the course of what we have today. And in the last two episodes, we've had two guests. Okay, Happiness for the last one, and Samuel for the previous, or the one before that. Yeah, Samuel for the one before the last episode. And I must confess that it was really nice having those two come up and share their thoughts with me as regards romance, as regards romance from the woman and man perspective, respectively. Okay, and something stood out for me from a conversation that I had with Happiness, when she made mention of the fact that, she said if you are married at 20 or married at 30, that God is not slow. Okay, that was what even served as a trajectory for what I released during my birthday, though I released it the day after. So, like the interlude, yeah, before this particular episode I'm just speaking right now, that served as a trajectory for that one, and to also be in a way serving as a basis for this conversation that we are on right now. Okay, and it just struck a chord, it struck a nerve, because when we are even talking about Kairos and Chronos timing in romantic decision making, it's very important to know that, oh, whether you are getting married at 20 or you're looking for a partner at 28, God is not slow, right? God is not slow. God is intentional about your life. God is intentional about my life. Because many people are in a relationship God never approved of, simply because they are of the notion that time is running out. They are running out of time. And of course, that is based on the timeline that is set by the society and not by heaven. Okay, so which is why it seems as though we are having more or less like a series in a series, because this, like, I don't even know how to just explain this what we are having right now, because I actually didn't envision going deep when we began this series on the Kairos, Chronos, and Kairos, right? Because yeah, season one, timing and decision making, then Chronos and Kairos, and now we're having romantic relationship. So a series, romantic relationship inside another series, Chronos and Kairos. Like, you get what I'm saying now? So having like that is I'm sure you guys understand what I'm saying. So yeah, having the foundation that we've gotten from the previous episodes, if you be following through, right, and of course I don't mind repeating it again, that the Chronos means chronological time. That's if you're just joining us for the first time and you're hearing what it means. That's if you've not heard it before. Chronos means chronological time, which defines oh Jesus, English language. Yeah, English sometimes can be hard. I just want to speak and things just not coming out. So yeah, chronological time defines the age and the milestone and the rest, while Kairos on the other hand speak about alignment. Okay, speaks about divine timing. Okay, that is basically the difference between the two of them. And when it comes to romantic relationship, there's something I want to point out correctly, that in as much as we are biological beings, our feelings are valid, because you would always yearn to have your own person, you would always yearn to have someone to call your own. But I want us to know that there is something known as purpose. There is a thing known as purpose. There is a thing known also as preparation, and there is another thing known as obedience. All right, let me take it again. There's a thing known as purpose, there's a thing known as preparation, and there is a thing known as obedience. And trust me when I say this, I'm not joking. All of them work together: purpose, preparation, and obedience. Okay, so you may be wondering how, right? Here's the thing: purpose must meet preparation. Yeah, that's the purpose must meet preparation, and obedience is needed for all of these things to make up the fulfillment of God's will. You may be wondering, how is that possible? Sometimes you could be that the main reason why you are not, according to God's plan, why you're not in a relationship, or those of us that are in a relationship, could be that you are not prepared for it, maybe mentally or financially, as the case may be. And even by mentally, I also want to believe that many of us have this set of beliefs, have this set of ideologies, right, that is quite dangerous even as believers. Okay, and I just remember something right now. A couple of weeks ago, I uploaded on my WhatsApp status updates, yeah, and I said, if for those of us that are probably in romantic relationship, as Christians, we believe that we should pray and have our convictions before entering relationship, and when you're in a relationship, it leads to marriage, right? And there are often times when you pray that, oh Lord God, give me this person, or I'm sorry, Lord God, this person is in my life. Is it the one? Is she the one? And God says no. So the average believer may be forced to think, maybe God is saying no because He's protecting you from that person, right? But have you ever stopped to realize that maybe God could actually be protecting the other person from you? Like, have you ever stop to just to think about it? Because you have the wrong ideology, you have the wrong belief system that is the formation of your entire being, and you've taken decisions, it has built character in you, okay? And that means by so doing, you are not prepared to be in a relationship. Because if you enter a relationship with that mindset, if you enter a relationship with what is governing your belief system, it will serve as danger to the other person. So that means in a way that you are not prepared to be in a relationship, despite the fact that if you were prepared, that this season, or God could have said yes, yeah, you should be in a relationship. So God protecting you, God saying no to that person that you are praying about may not necessarily be that God is protecting you from anything. Protecting you from anything, yeah, but God is protecting the other person from you because you're not prepared. Okay, so when we now take it a little bit further, we would realize that Kairos doesn't speak about deadline, doesn't speak about timelines, but it speaks about season. Okay, so we've already known and we've registered that there's a big difference between Kairos and Chronos. So let's take it a step further with true life stories, and I'm going to use but okay, let me just stick with names, right? So the first story that I'll be sharing with us, that let me say, just to drive all my points as regards Kairos and Chronos, Kairos versus Chronos. And it's important that I state clearly that we're looking at romantic decisions, that we're talking about defining the difference and recognizing God's hand. Okay, and I want to believe this may be in parts, but let's see how it goes. So here's the thing. There is this particular lady who I'll call Daisy. Alright, and Daisy is like a name in the southeastern part of Nigeria that speaks as to first daughter. So anytime you hear the name Ada, it could be the first daughter, okay, the first daughter of a man, or that's his man, but a first daughter of a family. Okay, so she was 27, right? And she had this great job. I beg your pardon. She had this great job in Abuja, which is the capital of Nigeria, for those who don't know. And she was the last among her siblings that was single. Okay, and the interesting thing about this is that she wasn't even the last born. She wasn't the last of her parents, but yet she was the only one who was single. And there's only this sort of pressure that comes, and you know how wide it can be whenever you go for family function, you go for even if it's not family function, but among your peers, there's this subtle reminder that you are single. There's a way it is dropped softly. It may not really come in a forceful way, but softly, right? And when you're having a conversation, laughing over the phone, someone will be asking, is he the one? And you could just be just a friend, someone that just a friend. Even the person you're even speaking to doesn't even have any romantic interest, just a friend having this conversation. Oh, is it the one? Have you seen somebody? And when you reply in the negative, the next question would be, when are we going to see somebody? Then why are you talking about it? Why are you smiling like that? Questions like that she gets. So along the line, after all of this, after experiencing all of these subtle reminders, she met someone, and let's say his name is Emmanuel. Let's call him Emmanuel. Someone many ladies will regard as being charming, right? Who said the right things, who know, just like, you get what I'm saying, who said the right things, acted in the right way, and of course wanted something serious with her. And he popped the question, and she said yes. And it it is important to note that the thing moved quite very fast. Let me put it that way. The relationship moved very fast. But deep down within now, for crying out loud, she is a Christian, right? But she never had convictions. There was no convictions whatsoever. She ignores the sign because, come on, I'm 27 and very soon I'll be 28. I have nobody, and she's tired of all the questions. Now, putting all of this into consideration without feeling something for the guy, okay, and she's part of the people that say something like, love will grow with time. This is one thing I would say that would be one of the challenge that many people are facing, because there are many times I've seen couple of movies, when one partner is not attracted to the other, there is no love, there is no excitement. When you think about this person, there is no eagerness to be with this person, there is no eagerness to see this person. All right, and we just keep saying love will grow with time, love will grow with time. This was the same truth at Daisy, right? And 2 years in, what would happen? What was supposed to happen happened, and what could that be? Emotional, let's see. Yeah, let me put it this way: she was drained emotionally. That was supposed to happen. That was supposed to happen, and it happened. So, but the underlying issue is she felt nothing for him. He was a Christian like her, a good guy, not a bad person. But she felt nothing, and of course, what do you want the guy to do? Okay, like exactly what do you want the guy to do? So, at every point in their relationship, she was always questioning the relationship. But she came to the point that she just admitted that this cannot continue like this. At least she was bold enough to admit it and walk away, right? She walked away, but some wouldn't. And on the flip side, there's this guy who I will call Benga in the southwestern part of Nigeria. All right, and he met his partner when he was serving in like the compulsory NYSC. Let me put it that way. And for those of us who don't know what NYSC means, it's like a 1 year compulsory service year after your degree. And he met this lady. They liked each other instantly. But one thing that was particular about them is they didn't rush it. Okay, and that's why the fact that Benga was, when I use the word spiritual, like a Daisy, yeah, he was spiritual like a Daisy. He was learning discipline, and the case may be like a Daisy, working on his financial stability. Though a Daisy was more financially stable than he is, or than he was rather. And put that, not he is, than he was. So it's not like a recent story. What I'm saying is not a recent story. So she, at that time, she was financially more stable than Benga. Okay, so people around Benga will keep muttering these statements. What are you waiting for? Why have you not asked this lady out? You guys are always together. We can feel the vibe. We can feel the transmission between you guys. You get what I'm saying, right? We can feel the connection. You have found out already. So what are you waiting for? Benga took his time. He waited. They waited. They prayed. They got counsel. Okay, and 4 years down the line, they got married. And of course, it was what the way waits rather. It was what the waits. So what am I trying to say? I don't want you to take my word for it. But if you have been following this podcast for a while, that's if you have been following for a while, you would have observed that I always pick up research to back up whatever I'm saying. Now, looking at this in relation to the story, a study from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, okay, revealed that people who enter relationship during emotionally unstable seasons of their life significantly are more likely to experience regret, they are more likely to experience heartbreak, and they are more likely to experience dissatisfaction regardless of compatibility. And in fact, in all honesty, the research showed that timing more than shared interest or attraction is a better indicator of long-term success. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. So I would appreciate if what I just said could just sink in. Okay. But looking again at this particular one from a Christian, a Christian by the name Dr. Morgan Cutlip. So I'm trying to read it out right now. And it says that the person is actually a Christian relationship psychologist. And the person said, and I quote, that people confuse chemistry with confirmation. But timing isn't about how strong the feelings are. It's about how strong the foundation is. So in essence, what is it all about? See, butterflies alone cannot carry marriage, but obedience to God's timing will. Basically, that is just the whole summary of everything, even the story and the research. So butterflies alone wouldn't carry marriage. Butterflies alone wouldn't sustain a relationship. Okay, there must be a foundation, there must be a basis as to which the relationship will rest upon, as to which the marriage will rest upon. Okay, and it truly matters a lot. It truly does matter a lot. And I know some may be thinking, what if God says it's not yet, but you are feeling it's time? Okay, God is saying it's not yet, it's not yet time, it's not yet time, it's not yet time, my dear, it's not yet time, my son, is not yet time, my daughter, is not yet time. But you're like, God, I feel it's time. Okay, I feel it's time. But if we are going back to the book of Esther, and Esther, when Mordecai told Esther and said, who knows if you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Now, what do I mean? From that story, you would have realized that Esther didn't step up immediately. She prayed, she fasted, she waited before she met the king. Like many a times, so like, let's look at the story well. Before Mordecai came and said, oh, what if we are in this kingdom for such a time as this? Did she go to meet the king and say, King, this is what's going on? No, she waited, she fasted, she prayed. Because when it comes to Kairos, when it comes to you feeling, oh, it is time, Kairos isn't just about taking action. Kairos is beyond feeling you are ready. But Kairos is about being aligned with God. Okay? Sometimes just take a deep breath. I know you are feeling, oh, I'm ready, I need to do this, I need to do that. But can you just hold on and just wait for God to get a prompting to secure a conviction, a solid conviction? Now, another verse that I have we use in this romantic series would be Romans 5:6, right? When it says that, let me just paraphrase, and said, at the right time, Christ died for the ungodly. Now, that phrase, at the right time, God didn't come before the time, God didn't come after the time. Either ways should have still be wrong. But the Bible says, at the right time. So that means Jesus' life that is supposed to serve as a sacrifice came at the right time. And the right time is the Kairos window. It didn't come early, it didn't come late. When the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. That is the most beautiful thing. When the time is right, you wouldn't. One thing about Kairos moment is that I'm not just speaking to only romantic relationship, but I want you to just open your mind to receive what I want to say. One thing about Kairos moment is that it is something that you wouldn't force. I'm telling you the truth. You just wouldn't force it. You just be in your own corner, preparing, minding your business, minding God's business. Then certain things will begin to align for you. Certain doors would open. Certain opportunity would present itself. And you weren't even quote and unquote preparing for it. You're just in your own corner. Yes, you were going to preparing yourself, but you weren't thinking about it, you weren't planning about it, and you're just there. You weren't even discussing about it. That is even the most funniest thing. You weren't making efforts. Now, that is a very sweet thing about Kairos moment. You wouldn't make efforts, you just come and you just maximize the moment. So, bringing it back to romantic relationship, the Kairos moment, when it comes to Kairos moment, you wouldn't force it. It is not when you wouldn't feel pressure because your guys, your friends, your peers are posting engagement pictures, having wonderful content, proposal content on Instagram. When the time is right, you wouldn't feel pressure. It will just happen. Whether it is content worthy or not, it will just happen. You wouldn't force it. You're just there minding your business, minding God's business, and it just comes. Okay. Now this is the thing. Let me just draw the content on this particular episode. Okay. And you may be wondering that what are the signs that you're moving your Chronos and Kairos moments, or not Kairos? Yes. What are the signs that you're moving your Chronos and not Kairos? I'll give you 4 indices to mention it. Number one for me is you're not feeling anxious. There's no anxiety anywhere. You're not feeling any form of anxiety. Number 2, you are not hiding the relationship or whosoever the person is from wise counsel because you're thinking that you know what they will say. It's going to be a no. No. Even if it's going to be a no, you still let them know. And the third one, you are making moves because you feel you should be in a relationship, not because God has given the go ahead. That alone is an indicator that it's not even a Kairos. It's not Kairos. Okay, that alone is a big flag. You're just making move like a chess player. You're just making calculated moves, not waiting for God's approval. That alone is no, but and this is that it's not a Kairos moment. And the fourth one is this, which I believe that many of us sometimes may have experienced. Sometimes maybe there's a probability, though I pen it down. It is that you are afraid to let it go, even when it clearly doesn't align with your principle. It clearly doesn't align with God's plan and purpose for your life, but because you feel time is going, so that you're like, nah, this cannot go. You're struggling within yourself. This cannot go. That is the proof that you're not in your Kairos moments when it comes to romantic relationship. See, I want you guys to see this. Please listen to what I have to say. And what I want to say is very simple. God is not bound by your age. God cannot be put into pressure. God cannot be made to enter panic mode because of your timeline. That is the thing about God. I just needed to sound it out. God cannot be put into pressure by anybody. God, I'm getting old. Please, I'm not trying to mock anybody, but I just want us to understand who we are calling the Father. He's not bound by time. He's not bound by our age. He cannot be put into panic or pressure by any of us. Okay? He has a time that, irrespective of it, even when it seems as though we have lost time, when God shows up, there is recovery of time. There is recovery of time, and the Lord gives speed. He gives speed. Oh, your friends have gone 5 years ahead of you, not just in a romantic relationship, even in life in general. Your friend has gone, they've gone 8-10 years ahead of you, they're far ahead of you. And if you have to meet up, to take 8-10-11 years for you to meet up with them, even 50 years to meet up with them. But when God shows up, and I'm saying not just romantically, when God shows up, He shows up with the best, and He gives you recovery of time, and which leads to speed. Take that for me. It gives you speed. And yes, God's gifts are only and always the best. Always the best, and they are worth waiting for. Trust me, the gifts of the Lord are worth waiting for. Okay, they are sincerely worth waiting for. And finally, right, What then does Kairos relationship look like? What then does the when I'm my Kairos moment, when your Kairos moment automatically, how would you know? Number one, there will never be confusion. You would always have clarity. That is number one. You can never be confused. Regardless of how you guys meet, regardless of the situation, there would always rather be clarity. Okay. Number two, everything would align. You will not rush anything. You will see how everything, including events, including people, would align. You would see it when you look back in retrospect. You will see how everything is in alignment. Get what I'm saying? And the third one is that when you're in your Kairos season, it wouldn't confirm. It most likely may not confirm emotions, but it surely would confirm purpose. Take that from me. There will be a confirmation of purpose. There may not necessarily be attraction at first. You may not have butterflies in your stomach. You may not have the good goosebumps, as the case may be. But one thing is certain: it would confirm purpose. Take that from me. And last but not the least, it will honor God. God will never give you anything that will dishonor Him. God will never give you anything that wouldn't make you honor Him in the first place. Even though there are many times that we believe I need to be very, very careful, because God will give us so many things, the things that we're trusting Him for, the person that we're trusting Him for, and we end up making them an idol. Okay, you end up placing that person or placing the thing that we're requesting from God above God when we finally receive them. But either ways, whatever it may be, when it's Kairos moments, as soon as you receive it, be it a person romantically or whatsoever thing you may be asking God for, it surely would honor God. It would honor God. And finally, when it comes to love, there is no one size fit for all. Okay, there's no one size fit for all. Some people would meet and marry 1 year. The year they meet, let's take for example, somebody will meet a person in January and in December they are married. Others may meet somebody to this year and they will get married to the person in the next 5 years. Some will meet their spouse at 22, while others will meet their spouse at 27, some 33. But all is valid. Everything is valid. Get what I'm saying? Some will get married at 22, some will get married at 37, some will get married at 28. Everything is valid. As long as it's God's timing, it's valid. Like Happiness said in the last episode, God is not slow. Okay? God is not slow. And I will say this so I could round up right now, because pretty much I'm in my own room, but the noise from other rooms are entering into my own room. So here's the thing: don't marry due to loneliness. Don't marry due to timelines. Don't marry due to societal or family pressure. Okay? Don't let unnecessary pressure come into you due to timelines. Don't let unnecessary pressure burden you. Just let go of the burden and trust in the fatherhood of God. Wait for Kairos moments. Okay? Wait for the Kairos moments. You'll be fine. You're doing just fine. Trust me. And when it's time, you won't have to chase. You won't have to pursue. You won't have to convince. Yeah. Guys, listen. When it's time, you will not convince her. Trust me, when it's time, you wouldn't have to convince though. You wouldn't have to convince. But of course, some people will argue this thing, but not regardless. You wouldn't have to convince. You wouldn't have to force it. You wouldn't have to lift your finger, as the case may be. Everything will just be in alignment, and you know that of a truth, this can only be God. Okay? So until next time, enjoy the fatherhood of God. Laugh, enjoy the process, love. By love, I'm not talking about romantic relationship, by the way. But if a romantic relationship comes and the sky just meant for you, why not? Feel free, enjoy. So thank you very much for staying with me up to this time. Thank you very much. And until the next episode, take care. and bye bye.